So, welcome to the Great Agency podcast, where we talk to interesting people doing interesting things just to learn about their growth. So, welcome again.
Thank you. Thanks for
Okay.
having me.
So before we get started, I guess I do want to thank you for being here, and I see the work you're doing in the entrepreneurial space, especially the Black entrepreneurial space in Canada. Like you're like one of the few people that are championing it on the person's edge.
Championing is wild,
Because
please.
other people are doing it, but it's more like bigger organizations with like
Mm,
non-for-profits and all of those
mm,
things that are like getting funding from the government. But like you're like one
mm.
of the few that's like, what, blacks, as a black, you must make it. And I'll make sure that
Actually, yeah.
yeah. So before we dive into all of that, maybe we could start from like the early days, back in Nigeria, growing up with like, among,
Four
a family
brothers.
of
Yeah,
four
yeah,
brothers
yeah,
being the
yeah.
last one. Maybe we could start with that. Yeah. So
What was
what
it
was that
like?
like?
I mean, I feel like most of my childhood was me just trying to keep up with my brothers, whether
Right.
it's like physically or academically or even
Yeah.
just like the hype. Like my brothers had so much hype. They still do
Right.
like around like the four Barango brothers
Right.
thing, and then there was me. So I think I feel like growing up, I was always just trying to like keep up,
Right.
and like either like I'm trying to like play soccer with them because like there's
Okay.
no other person like they wouldn't want to play my type of games, and so like I had
Yeah.
to play their type of rough play,
Right.
or like them like tutoring me for stuff,
Right.
math and all that stuff. So like
Right.
I feel like that's like the way I'll summarize my childhood. Like I was
Right.
just really trying to keep up with my
Right,
brothers. Yeah.
right. Fair enough, fair enough. And I think you grew up in Port Harcourt. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was that like?
Port Harcourt is so chill. Like I feel like people don't rate Port Harcourt enough. But
Okay.
like funny enough, we just went back to Port Harcourt this month, and then like for my dad's birthday. Port Harcourt is like the in between. Like
Okay.
there's Lagos and then there's Abuja and then there's just Port Harcourt.
Right.
So it's like the last born to like my parents were like engineers, and they were also pastors. So like growing up as a pastor's child, that's
Right.
also like a whole
Like
other
PK.
thing. Literally, like I feel like people always put you on this pedestal.
Right.
And my parents were like a lot of the time they were traveling for work. So like it was very like busy, like being my parents' child. Like
Right.
you're either not seeing them like because they're at work, or you're not seeing
Right.
them because they're at church, or like,
Right.
and so just having to like figure stuff out
Right.
sometimes. But
Right.
it was pretty cool. Port Harcourt is a very chill place.
Okay.
Still,
Okay.
so.
So like looking back, or at the very least, like from like a younger Nina, would like a younger Nina have predicted like a Nina of
Definitely
now
not.
would
You know what was crazy? Because
yeah.
like I mentioned, we went to Port Harcourt a
Yeah.
couple of weeks ago, and I stayed in my childhood room, and I just
Right.
kept thinking the whole time, nobody could have told me that like this is the life I
Right.
would be living. I remember
Right.
even when my parents told me I was coming to Canada, I was just like, really? Like I thought like ever since then, I feel like sometimes my life was like a dream. Like
Right.
and good thing about dreams, it can be good and bad at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but like I myself did not even dream about the life that I'm living now.
Right.
So I just feel like it's a mix of randomness,
Right.
intentionality,
Right.
predestination,
Right.
yeah, and having a praying mother. Like I honestly feel like
I cannot underrate prayer.
yeah.
So interesting. Like, do you think like that childhood like taught you anything that you could actually pick into like right now, like that determines like, oh, you know what, this is like the direction I want to go in life?
Funny enough, because obviously I did my secondary school in Nigeria, right? So my first 3 years I was a day student.
Okay.
So I was actually an entrepreneur. That's where I'm going with this story. But like an underground one. Like they get so basically my school was day and boarding, right? And so I would buy stuff outside school and come to school and sell it to the brothers.
Right.
But then it was actually my mom buying the stuff for me. Like, but she didn't know that like I was into this. So imagine your mom is buying you snacks for school, right? And then I'm like, oh, I don't need to eat. I'll go hungry, and then I'll sell it to the brothers, and I'll make money. And I used to buy silly stuff like gum or recharge card or something silly, right? And I feel like that's been me my whole life. Like always just like creating stuff out of nothing,
Right.
or like things that other people might overlook. That's
Right.
where you'll find me trying to like do something.
Right.
I feel like that like really has carried me through a lot of like seasons in my life that were just maybe uncertain or not. Honestly, I feel like my life is not a straight path. Like it's just been like a lot of like, but at each point, like you always just find me doing something
Right.
interesting or
Right.
cool or random or like
Right.
something that you're just like, how did you even think about that? And I feel like that's how my brain has always worked.
Okay.
Another thing that I feel like I picked up from my childhood is just as a last born, you get to observe a lot of people. Well, at least for me, I got to observe a lot of things. Like, especially because being the last one, like I don't want it to come up some type of way, but sometimes you're just in the background. Like you're just like there. You know, everybody's grown, you're small, like, and everybody's doing their thing, right? And so I feel like I got to observe so many things, whether it's my parents, my brothers, even people that interact with my parents. And it just taught me so much, like intrinsically about life, you know, like just seeing things, like seeing my brothers get into trouble for stuff. I'm like, oh, so if I wanted to do this, this is how I'll do it to not get into trouble. And so many of the things they got in trouble for, I ended up doing and not getting in trouble just from a place of observation. And I feel like these days people don't observe enough. Like I feel like everybody's always quick to share an opinion. But if we all just took a second to observe, like I feel like we'll learn so much more. Those I feel like are the like two things from my childhood, at least that I can still remember. That's like consciously helped me so far.
Right. It's interesting you mentioned that you're like selling things from when you were young. So like I've interviewed two people right now and it's the same thing.
Really?
Like it's the same thing. Essentially, like, you know, people that are entrepreneurs, like when they are older, you know, there's already like a sign of it from like when they were super young, where it's like, you know, you're very young and like you don't exactly have like the courage to like go all out. But like when as you get older, you're like, you know what, I can actually do this thing. You know, so they basically start from childhood is the point. So okay, fast forward. You come to Canada and you study HR, like human resource management. So like how did that come about?
So like I said, right, like I didn't even know, like all my brothers were already in Canada at the time, right? I didn't know if I was gonna make it. So all my brothers are like straight A students, right? I wasn't a straight A student until I got to university, like, and so I just figured, well, like I'm not a straight A student, and my parents had already like they made it clear to me like my educational weaknesses, you know, and so I was just like, honestly, like let me just shall make it, you get. So I think I overheard my dad talking to my mom about Canada, Nina, like, what are we going to do? And my mom was like, yeah, I just study HR now. Like, and so, but the thing is, all my childhood, I'd been saying, oh, I want to be a doctor. Until I got to the secondary school, I started failing chemistry, biology, everything, like, science. This is not for you. And then I did A levels, and then the only thing I was good at that I was getting A's in was math and economics, right? Math, economics, literature. Those are like I would clear it in my sleep. And everybody was just like, well, you said you wanted to be a doctor. Like, I guess we should have just like let you do like arts or creative. And my parents still had hope in me that. But then along the line, I think my WAEC results came out. My dad was just like, I don't really think
it's not doctor
is not really your destiny. And so at the time, I think my mom was doing a master's in HR, and she was just like, you know what, like you're good at math, you're good at economics, you can read and you can write, you might as well. And that literally was it. I didn't even know what human resources were at the time. I remember coming to Canada because, again, all my brothers were in Ottawa, and I got admission in York in Toronto, and I was so happy, like, because I was just like, finally, like, I'm on my own, like, because all the schools I went to, apart from one of them, like, all my brothers went there. And so, like I said, I was always playing catch up, right? And so for me to come to Toronto, just be on my own, like, nobody even, like, my family was like, which one is York University again? Like, you know, I was so happy. And to do a degree that, like, you know, nobody knew the head or the tail of it, right? It was just like carry go type of thing. But I had so much fun doing HR, even though I've never worked HR in my life. Because it was just a lot of like research, writing papers, and that's like my jam. Like 35 pages, I'm there. Like, that's my jam. I really like just like it was a very it was a humanities course, I think. So lots of psychology, lots of economics, sometimes a bit of financing. So it was well rounded, if you ask me. And then I graduated and was like, I definitely don't want to, because a lot of the people in my course, they were already interning,
Okay.
like during university. Me during university, I was working. I think my first job in Canada was I was there was this thing on campus, like you can go around getting signatures. So
Okay.
it was this platform that was launching one class or something. And basically what they do is they have people go to different courses and take notes, and then they sell the notes to people that
Okay.
maybe they miss class or
Right.
something, right? And so to graduate to a note taker, you first start from a community builder or something, and you're
Right.
just walking around getting people to sign up for
Right.
it. And that was my first job. And they were paying me 30 something cents per email address.
Okay.
I remember at the time, because I was too young to open a PayPal account.
Okay.
So they were paying into my brother's PayPal account. So sometimes I'll make like $30 and I'll be so happy, like,
Right.
because like my parents are sending me money, but like I just always wanted to make my own money,
Right.
right? And then after that, my next job was an office job in church. I was the assistant, pastor's office assistant. I did that for throughout my university. So like what I'm trying to explain is that like all the odd jobs I had during school, none of them were human resource. Like
Right.
after I did the church job for a while, and then I became part-time there because I got a job in a real estate company, admin again. So I was mostly an administrative person, and I will always interface with the human resource person, obviously, in the office. And I was just like, they just always didn't look happy with their lives.
Right.
Like, I don't think I want to do that when I
Right.
graduate, right? And so, but then again, I was also an immigrant. So, like, you're thinking about, okay, after you graduate, you have postgraduate work permit, which is 3 years at the time. I don't know what it is now.
Right.
And then you have to like fight for PR and all of that. So my brother was just like, do you know what? When you finish this degree, come to Ottawa, join Enterprise. They had this sales management training program. And at the end of 1 year, 1.5 years, you can apply for your PR,
Right.
and then you can do whatever you want. And I was like, deal.
Sure.
So that's literally how I left my HR degree, went into sales management at Enterprise, the car rental, and then finished that, applied for my permanent residence. COVID hit.
Oh.
So then COVID hit, but I was still working at Enterprise at the time. And they did so many layoffs, and I was just like, oh, everybody's wearing a mask. Travel was low that period. Everything was so uncertain. And I knew that I was tired of like that job because I had been there for like over a year, and I was trying to get into tech. So I actually took a pay cut because Enterprise, the good thing then was you get a lot of overtime. We were working 60-hour weeks. Like, you get a lot of overtime from that. And then so I really wanted to work from home because that was the in thing.
Right.
And so I got a sales SDR job at a tech company in Ottawa. But then obviously, like, I knew I was trying to get into marketing, but because I didn't have marketing experience, so I used my enterprise sales experience to break into tech sales. Then I used my tech sales experience to break into tech marketing. And then I did marketing until I became like a manager level in tech. For about 4 years I was working in marketing. Yeah.
Oh, pretty fair. I think you literally you answered my next question, which was like how you move from like the
so
HR.
that's literally my career path, like HR to marketing.
Right, fair. So I guess like maybe we could now talk about like your experience with like the corporate tech world. And I think I was seeing maybe some blog post. I think it was Boxbug or something like
Box
that.
Hub.
Boxhub. Yeah, like I think they're into like shipping or something like
So
that.
that's the last company I worked in. They're like a tech logistics company. All this thing is packaging, but basically selling shipping containers,
Right.
but using technology to sell it, to source and sell. So because they needed technology to source, because shipping containers come in from China, right? And to be able to locate the containers, maybe, for example, if a container was landing, if there was a port in Ottawa and the container was landing at the port, and someone in Kingston was looking for a container,
Right.
The technology would basically be able to locate the container closest to that person, and then now and they'll be able to buy it at the local price of
Right.
that area.
Right.
But it's very complicated behind the scenes, and so they use a lot of tech to simplify it. But yeah.
Yeah. So as of this time, had you already started SoPlugged, or you were
Yeah,
still
yeah, I started
okay?
SoPlugged when I was working in enterprise.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
started SoPlugged. Yeah, when I was leaving enterprise, I had started it by then.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, but then it was SoPlugged looked so different back then than
Right.
what it is now.
Right.
So initially it was just the directory, but even the directory looked so. I remember the first website I built it on Squarespace,
Right.
and I was just like so proud of myself,
Right. Right.
because I was like, oh, I just wanted a nice landing page that
Right.
just says buy black, buy black this, buy black that. And so I did that. My brothers were like, okay, like,
What's going on? Yeah.
do you actually have a direction for this
Yeah.
thing? And so, like, we started brainstorming and then, like, fleshing out what it is that I had in my head. At that time, like, I just had an idea of, like, I want it to be easy for people to find black businesses around Canada.
Right.
And it sounds simple, but so I thought it would be simple to
Right.
do.
Right.
And then it took us almost a year to like
Right.
get everything up and running. And remember, like, just pressuring my brothers to be, because I'm not a technical person. I don't know how to code. Although now, shout out to AI. So, like, I have to say that.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, okay, like, can you help me build this? Can you help me build this? And so I remember when we launched the first iteration, the thing broke. Like, there was just so many bugs. And people were like messaging me, and I felt so embarrassed. I was just like, can the ground just swallow me now? And so then I didn't used to talk about it. Like, I didn't even, if people even ask me, I'd just be like, no, I'm not really doing anything. It's just this small, like, up until 2023, I didn't really used to like own it. Like, yeah, like if you followed me on Instagram, I would just be reposting here and there, like just dropping here and there. But like, and if you knew me personally, you probably knew. But I wasn't proud of SoPlugged back in the day. In fact, I didn't even think it was gonna last this long, to be honest. 2023, I just.
But before we go too far, so like I kind of want to go back because I was listening to one of the podcast like you were on. So like you mentioned, as of when you started SoPlugged, you were already buying like black from black businesses.
I was.
So like I'm kind of curious, like what actually led to that?
Honestly, I don't know. I like to think it's COVID. Okay. I think it was definitely in the pandemic that lifestyle shift started for me. I think what I realized in COVID is none of this stuff matters. Like, I had so many like come to Jesus moments during the pandemic that I just kept thinking, okay, so that's how everything just shuts down. And like everything. And I feel like also during the pandemic, a lot of people started realizing that they had skills within them. And so people started putting their stuff out there. And so now I was now just seeing life through this different lens of like these big box people that just take up space everywhere and there's just so much monopoly. But they can't even like handle the pandemic. Like they don't even like, meanwhile, there's people out here like doing so much cool stuff, cooler than all this other stuff that just takes up all the space. But nobody can even see them or hear them or find them. But their stuff is like way better than, remember when they couldn't find tissue paper? There was a time I couldn't find rice. I was living in Ottawa during the pandemic. Couldn't find rice in Loblaws or my. Guess where I found a ton of rice? The African store on Clyde. And I was just like, okay, but nobody even knows there's rice here. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, Walmart was sold out of rice. I'm talking about the rice that Nigerians eat, right? I went to like 3 locations. Everywhere it was sold out. The African store had like bags. But because there wasn't visibility, right? That was just gonna be sitting down there. And I was so sad because I was just like, people have so much hype for these bigger guys. Because obviously they have the big money to put themselves in the big spotlight. But one pandemic took all of them out. Right? I'm not saying small businesses did not struggle during the pandemic. I'm just saying, for me in that moment, it was just like, I wonder how much other cool stuff we're missing out on just because we don't know that it exists, right? And that, amongst other things, don't get me wrong, like even seeing my friends start up stuff and struggle, these are people that had careers in 9 to 5 for bigger companies. And then they were trying to find their own space and they were struggling. And I was just like, it shouldn't be this difficult, man.
Right.
Like, you have something cool, that should be enough. But
Right.
then I started learning about like the dynamics of visibility, being a
Right.
minority,
Right.
being seen as small, it's even in the language we use when we say support, like, and versus I'm going to buy. Like, you tend to say I'm going to buy when it's for a more established corporation versus when it's
Right.
a
So
smaller
you say like you're
person.
just supporting the person's
Exactly.
business.
So it's so ingrained in our minds as individuals, as a society, that big is better than small. But then, like, time after time, we see that that's actually not the case,
Right.
So
Right.
all that to say that I think for me, just seeing a lot of those things happen during the pandemic was just altering my brain chemistry. I just kept
Right.
thinking, wow, like there's so much stuff that goes unnoticed just because people
Right.
don't have the
Right.
spotlight or like the visibility they
Right.
need. And so I then started like just making a more conscious effort, like thinking about, okay, as a Black person, as a Nigerian, how
Yeah.
many Nigerian brands do I even buy from?
Right.
How many do I even know?
Right.
Beyond my friends, because I then started just like buying from my friends, and at some point they were just like, oh. I remember one of my friends was just like, oh, Nina,
You're coming again.
you're coming again, and I was like, wait, I hope I'm not doing too much. But then,
because I feel like the bigger companies, like they will welcome you.
exactly. Oh, they will email you, they will thank you. But I think for her, she was just like, it's that you don't have any other thing to do with your time. But for me, I was just so excited that like I had that shift, and I just started thinking, you know what, beyond even my friends, I want to like find other people that are doing other cool stuff. So I started like making a conscious effort like in my searches. But then like how many times do you type Black owned sweater brand or something? You get what I'm saying? Like back then in 2020, 2021, I feel like it was really towards the end of 2021 and beginning of 2022 that a lot of those businesses started like pushing beyond and like trying to like gain that spotlight. But that was when I was just like, you know what, it would be cool if I just had all this information in one place. Because what I would do before SoPlugged was I would then make a list, I'll post on my Instagram story. I'm like, if you're looking for, because then it was the George Floyd protest, everybody was doing all those cute graphics. And my problem with those cute graphics, like people do when there's like a social outcry, everybody's posting the same thing. But like after the post, then what? Because like it's like full action, right? Like me posting something to my story makes me feel good about myself that I've done something. But in the real sense of things, like, have you actually moved a needle?
True.
Right? So for me, I was just like, okay, let me aggregate these things that I'm finding and put it out there. So I think it was every other month or so, I would just make a cute post. These are the businesses I'm enjoying here and there. I'll post up. And then from there, we started working on the directory. And that's how
interesting. It's good I mentioned that because like that basically led to SoPlugged.
Yes,
so
basically.
it's interesting. It's interesting. So like again, I was listening to the podcast again. So like you mentioned on the day of launch, and I think you got only like 2 signups.
Literally. And it was so what had happened was obviously we were launching. I was so excited.
Yeah.
I had been doing all these counting down posts, doing all the thing. Because back in the day, you first count down for 10 days leading up to. I did everything, and I even so we launched, right? The website was live, nothing, and I started messaging people directly to be like, hi, blah blah blah. I know you own a business, like. I'm not even saying share. I'm just saying sign up. Do you get it? It will take you 5 minutes. Do you know till today? There are some people that I message direct. Like I know these people. Like they didn't acknowledge the message. Ooh. They didn't sign up.
Right.
And I just kept thinking, but it's free. Like you don't even have to like. I'm just thinking about myself now. If somebody that I've even done business, if you message me to say, Nina, sign up for this thing, it's going to take 5 minutes. Sure. Like, it's 5 minutes, right? Yeah. And it's free. So I just thought people will have that same reaction or even be more excited to be like, wow, like, this person has gone out of their way. Maybe I had a savior complex. I don't know what I had, but only 2 people signed up. And I'm just like, you people are so ungrateful. Like, but beyond all of that, I genuinely felt like sad. Like, I was just like, am I sure? Like, how? I went to my brother and I was just like, nobody has signed up. I don't think, I was very disappointed. You know, it's one thing to have the courage to put something out there, but the courage to stay when nothing is happening publicly. Like, because you can go on there and see there's only 2 businesses that are there. Do you get, like, it's not a hidden thing that I can just make. Like, if you went to the website, you see it's only 2 businesses there. And so for a while, it was like maybe 10, 12. And even that 10, it was like me having to like say, like, keep messaging people literally. So like, I know that 5 people have not responded, but I will still build the courage to reach out to 5 more. That thing, it's not like, I feel like it builds a different level of like doggedness in you to just keep like, it's almost like you feel like a beggar, but like you now have to put on a bold face to now stay and just be like, oh, I'm providing value. I'm providing. So yeah, that was basically
right. Interesting. Basically, like how to sell your, like, okay, people are not believing in it, but like you still keep at it.
Oh, like mad. People were not.
So like, I'm curious. Like, do you feel like something like this kind of like it's in a broader picture, sort of like maybe shows what the Black communities are not doing in the terms of, like, as much as, like, we'll think like business wise, but like, a lot of the time, like the successful people, they usually like don't drop from heaven. They usually like just start from something, and like, they start from like their immediate community. Then over time, like that actually like expands into like a global market. So like, do you feel like in a Black community in general, like there's a thing where like the immediate community for whatever reason don't like, like supports, each other in that sense? Like, do you think it's a thing? And if yes, like why does this happen?
It's definitely a thing. But I don't know if it's peculiar to Black community. I think humans at large. People are too self-absorbed to care about like something beyond themselves that doesn't like affect themselves. Like, do you get what I'm saying? I think because sometimes like if you also think about yourself, there are definitely things that you couldn't care about. Like, I'm sure there's somebody around you that is doing something and they always say, oh, have you? And you're just like, oh, you again. Like, I couldn't be bothered, right? And I was listening to Apostle Samuel's message, and he was talking about like value and providing value. And he was like, until what you're doing is valuable to somebody, they couldn't care less. And it sucks. It really sucks, especially at the beginning when it's like a lot of people couldn't care. But the truth is just they don't find it valuable. And so for me, in the beginning time, after I'll cry and crash out and everything, I'll go back and be thinking, how can I make this valuable to you? Like, clearly, this is not valuable to you. How can I make it valuable to you? Now, I think it's more pronounced in the Black community, of course, because I don't know, maybe it's just our facial expression, how we just like react to things. I don't know if it's because we are so used to mediocrity from ourselves that it takes someone reaching a distinct level of excellence for us to be like, oh wow, I know her. Like, let me tell you this thing, and I don't want to sound somehow. But between last year and this year, the people that farms me, they're the same. They knew me.
They were ignoring you.
No, and we know it for a fact. They were ignoring me then because maybe they just felt, oh, this is another person. Too much from now, your thing will crash. And they're in their right to feel how they want to feel, because there are definitely people that have tried to do. When I was starting SoPlugged, all of a sudden, I kid you not, that same month, every other day, there was a new Black-owned popping up. Black-owned this, Black-owned directory. And I don't know if it was just hyper visible to me because I was launching too. But I was not feeling shy. I was like, so this my idea is not unique at all. Like, but I can tell you for a fact, you won't find like 90% of those people anymore today. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think Black people, we just got tired of every day somebody is coming to tell you, oh, I'm starting something,
Right.
but then there's no longevity,
Right.
right? And so people are now like, okay, remind me when you blow that you, and that's how people are.
Right.
And it sucks, it hurts, but I think for me, if you're waiting for people to, because the same people, even if they start uploading tomorrow, if you fail, they'll still quickly just turn around and be like, oh, I always knew she was going to fail. But when you were succeeding,
Right.
they were like,
Right.
so I just think that's why people need to be like married to their purpose. Like know why
Right.
you're doing what you're doing. Because if it's based on people
Right.
and whether they care for you or care, like I feel like people will move forward.
Fair,
Genuinely. Yeah.
fair. Okay, so going back to SoPlugged, so version 1 failed.
Failed woefully. Like he did not.
So now the pivot.
So obviously, funny enough, even though people were not signing up, I still left the directory up, right? Because I was just like, "Ugh, it's free anyways. And
Right.
it wasn't costing me money back. SoPlug wasn't costing me. Maybe in a month back then, SoPlug was costing me $50
Right.
back then. And back then, I was working. So I was just like, it's cool.
Yeah.
It was paying me, but it's cool. Like, you know. And then I was like, oh, then as well, people started doing a lot of this merch, always wearing things that
Yeah.
have impactful words on them. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, like it would be nice if there was one around just this whole buy black thing that we're focusing
Right.
on. So I started doing a bunch of merch. I did merch sold here and there. I feel like okay, people are like, okay, he has brought out a new one again.
Okay.
You know, people are very good at watching. Do you get
Right.
like sometimes people tell me things I do and I don't even remember. So I remember we went at the merch, people are like, okay, so what about the directory? I said, okay, so you knew about the directory.
And you
I
did
said,
not
okay,
sign
so
up.
you knew. And I said, okay, no problem. As long as you know. Then
Right.
I started noticing that what I now started realizing was as long as I stay top of mind for you, every other thing else doesn't matter to
Right.
me. So I started doing things. I just started doing things that I found cool.
Right.
Because I realized that that's the best way to stay top of mind for people. Because once you leave the game, once you're out of the game, you're out of the game. Like, but if you find a way to remain there and just like keep pivoting, trying out, tomorrow is always a new day. Like something else will be raining tomorrow. You can
Right.
always try that out for yourself. So, anyways, the merch we were doing very slim to zero profits, if not loss, you know. But it was a cool thing. We did cool stuff. Then I was not like, you know what? Maybe we can do merch and something else. My sister-in-law was launching, I had launched her skincare business. So I was like, you know what? Let's do a pop-up together. Till today, I don't know where the idea came from. I don't know why we thought it was a good idea, but we were so happy to do the pop-up. Put a ton of money into it as well. It was cool. It was different because at the time, small businesses of that size were not doing pop-ups in Toronto. Like everybody was still doing just at home, at home, at home. And we did it and people came, you know, mostly our friends anyways, but you know, your friends would bring their friends type of thing. And it was cool. And people are like, oh, it's so plugged now. It is, or is it like so? But then we were top of mind still. We're creating curiosity. People were buying. People were now tuning. People were now saying, "Oh, me too. I want to do a pop-up. It's so plugged. Can I do it?" I remember then I got like a bunch of DMs from people to be like, "Oh, can you do with my business next?" I just said, "I don't know you from anywhere. You're not even on our directory. So why could I? Like, do you get what I'm saying?"
Right.
But still back to the thing of being top of mind, being interesting, like picking people's curiosity. And then from there, I was like, oh, you know what? Like, I think I want to do an event. I think people don't know what they're doing. And so I need to educate people.
Right.
And so we did our first networking event. And from there, I was like, oh, it's actually this event thing. Because what I now started realizing was the less I focused on telling people to sign up for our directory, and the more I focused on providing value for business owners, the more business owners came. Because now we haven't promoted that directory in like 3 years. We have almost 500 businesses there. Like, I'm telling you, it was weird. Like, the minute I stopped posting about our directory, oh, please sign, because back in the day, every other day, please sign up for our directory. Literally, now People even come out and say, "Oh, I signed up, but you didn't let me go to." I was like, I don't even know.
What's great.
I don't even know what's going on with the bloody thing, because we now had to upgrade the like database and all of that stuff. Because the thing we thought nobody cared about, people started caring
It's
about,
great,
because they
right?
now started seeing us as, okay, SoPlug does these things for. It's always funny to hear when people describe SoPlug. I'm always like, wow, I guess that's what we do. Like, and I don't even bother like being like, because I'm just like, people's perception of your brand
Right,
is like a clear identifier if you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing. Because if they have the wrong perception of your brand, you're probably doing the wrong thing,
all
right?
right,
Anyways, my point for that was that when we started just focusing on how can we provide value to small businesses in the Black community and like give them things that actually help them be successful. We tried building websites, we did the events, webinars, then now markets, just thinking about different ways and the different struggles that these businesses have and how we
right.
can solve for that. Some of the problem we meant to go and solve, it ended up biting us. So the problem ended up being really good, like a good like reception of our solution. So honestly, you live and learn, man. That's the story of all
Right,
my pivots. I've
right,
just learned that the more sometimes you try to provide value and people don't value it
right,
still. It's still okay. You keep moving and you
right,
think about something else tomorrow.
right. Fair enough, fair enough. So, I mean, during this period, like you were still working full time and all,
Yeah.
and I think at some point you're like, you were just gonna like focus on it full time. I guess I have two questions there. First one is, at what point did you know that SoPlug is gonna be successful? And the second question is like, what was the decision that made you like, I'm gonna focus on this full time?
I don't have any answers. Really? So in 2023, when I got laid off,
Right,
so I've gotten laid off every year since 2022, right? 2023, when I got laid off for the second time that year, I was just like, oh, I'm
I'm
living
not
this
doing
life.
this.
The person I was dating at the time was like, I don't think.
9 to 5 is.
No. He was basically
Oh,
saying, because I was like, oh, I'm like I had a whole rant. Imagine I had a rant. It's like, how can they be laying me off? This is my third layoff. I'm definitely going to focus on SoPlug. At that time, we had just done our first event, mind you. I think so. We had just done our first event. And he was just like, how much is SoPlug making that you want to
right,
focus on SoPlug?
right,
And I was living in Toronto at the time. And he was just looking at me like, I think you should just try and find another job
right,
instead of like, oh no, what he said was, why don't you take 1 month break and then go
right,
back to corporate, because the way your life is set up right now, SoPlug will crumble if you try
right,
to do it full time. And I was like, you're so unsupportive. Blah, 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 blah. I tried to do the 1 month break and I went back to corporate, right? But in that my corporate job, I was just like, I know people can kick me out at any time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep focusing on SoPlugged as if my life depends on it. So I ended up still getting laid off from another job, got another job, then got laid off again.
oh,
So I've gotten laid off total of 4 times.
oh,
4 times, right? Yeah, 4 times. I've gotten laid off a total of 4 times. The fourth time happened last year, June. I said, God, this is not my life. To be getting laid off at least once a year, because I was in tech marketing. When tech layoffs are happening, HR goes first, marketing goes
right,
next, sales goes next. And it
right.
was
Project
literally the same. And
managers.
the project manager, they clean out everybody but the engineers and
Right,
whatnot. And I was just like, and I just remember telling God that this is not my life. Oh, like this can't be my life. Like constantly like living in fear of getting laid off, even though like I'm like all my performance reviews, if you see when I was working corporate top, like I wasn't like a lazy person, you know. But and I was just thinking to myself, if you people can build tech companies, meanwhile it's rubbish you're doing because they
right,
need to have layoffs, means that something did not go right somewhere.
right, right,
Me, I can also build my company to a place where we're now even employing people.
mm,
It was a wild thought. I just had that thought. Sometimes I have such fleeting thoughts that just like energize me. And I remember that day, like my brother-in-law was in Toronto that day, and I told him, bro, I got laid off, man. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, no, it's okay. I'm going to go full time. And he was like, oh yeah? And I was like, do it, man, do it. And I was like, yeah, thank you, man. And he doesn't know, but like him just being positive about it, like, because when you were trying to do that kind of thing, there was so much fear in me because I wasn't ready to be laid off. I wasn't ready to go full-time business. I was recovering from another layoff that I just had, right? I think I was in that company for about just under a year before I got laid off again. So building back my savings and all of that stuff, I wasn't in a good place to say I'm going all in business. But I just felt like, if not now, when? I'll keep giving excuses and all of that. And I just felt like if I can just go all in on this thing, I feel like, something must come out. And if something doesn't come out, then I'll find something else, you know. I just kept telling myself, I still have my resume. I can always go back to, because I was a manager at that point. So I just felt like I could always go back. And so that was last year. So we did so many events last year because I was just like, something must click, and it really put SoPlugged on the map. I'm not going to lie. I feel like me just dedicating my entire existence to it, definitely, it drained me. Like, because I gave it my all. Like, I always tell people, like, if you check me, I have nothing. I've given everything I have to this business. And sometimes it's deeply fulfilling. Sometimes it's deeply scary. I always say entrepreneurship made me a much better Christian because it made me really understand the concept of faith. I think when you're building something from scratch, it's literally a step of faith. Like, substance of things not seen, for real. Like, my whole business thing was literally like, if you keep, sometimes people are like, so this your SoPlugged thing, what exactly is it? And I'm like, I don't know. I just know that, like, I have this deep desire to help businesses in the Black community be successful. We've just been average for too long. We've become so comfortable with being overlooked. We've become so comfortable with playing it small. And I just feel like it's about time that we just shake things up and at least strive for success. If the success doesn't come, at least you can say you strove. Do you get? But and so that's just been it, really, since last year. Becoming, so many times I've gone to apply for jobs, so many times between then and now, I've I at some point I was even doing a contract job. Like, so many times I've doubted. I don't think at any point I was like, SoPlugged is going to take me out of the hood. I just felt like I'm too far gone now. It's already too late. Literally. And mostly just because I know deep down in me that this is literally my purpose. Like, anytime I'm doing anything else, even when I was in that contract, I was just like, oh, I'm sure these people know that this is not me. Like, this. But the thing about entrepreneurship is that because it requires everything from you. The people that do it half and half, they get half and half, right? Sometimes they don't even get anything. Because entrepreneurship, I just feel like it requires your soul, like everything. And so making sure I stayed grounded was so important to me, especially this year. Like, seeing how last year just drained me mentally, physically, and everything, because I just felt like I needed to go home. I needed to prove to myself that this thing can work. And so this year I was just like, okay, how do I keep doing this without losing myself in the process, right? And I feel like that's where, like, God has really helped me. But otherwise, it's a very crazy journey. To answer your question,
I mean, I guess that's fair. It's not so much about like, oh, there's like this big idea, or like this is gonna work. It's more like just conviction to like drive. It's like you will it into existence.
Literally, like, I don't think I got into it because I thought this was going to be successful. I think I got into it because I thought this is what I have to do. And that's it.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. So like, how has it been, like, just running it full time, and like this time, like, okay, because with a full time commitment, that like you don't have like a fallback, so Like, yes, like, okay, he has to work or he has to
Literally,
work.
literally,
Like, if he
literally,
doesn't work like this, then like God knows
literally,
what. So like,
literally.
what has that process been like? Because now you have to be more intentional about revenue, like cash flow. Then like, you can't really do everything yourself. Then like, now you have to like duplicate your impact and like you have to like bring in like a wider audience, stuff like that.
We thank God. No, genuinely, like somebody asked me the other day, how have you not lost your mind? I think I was explaining to them that because SoPlugged is one of my businesses. I have another company that I am building.
All right.
It was a tech company, Co-Create. And I was telling her how I just brought on my second employee and I was breaking down from because she was like, how have you not lost your mind? That like and I was just like, honestly, like every day I wake up and I fight for my sanity. Like
Right.
I think the one thing I've learned in this thing is to just hold on to God. Like because as a human being, I'm limited. Like I can't tell you what will happen tomorrow.
Right.
I can only hope for the best. You get. So how about I just rely on who knows it? You get what I'm saying? And that's why I said that this thing has really taught me a lot about faith because and not to get too spiritual, but
Right.
when Jesus told Peter to come out of the boat, like Jesus did not tell him, "Come out, you won't drown," or "Come out, I'll make you way." Like he didn't say any of that. He just said,
Let's come
"Come."
out.
That was it, and that was it. That's entrepreneurship. Come,
Right.
literally, the window, the water, like everything would try to sink you,
Right.
but the message is for you to come and
Right.
to like keep looking to Jesus. And so, in expanding SoPlugged, in building another business, in figuring out what's next for SoPlugged, all of that stuff, I've just found that like I'm limited by default because I am
Right.
human. I'm limited. And outside of the God factor, I've also just found that, again, because I'm limited, I need people. I can't do everything by myself. Like, and so how do I get people? I've also found that the people that work with me now, they've come from personal relationships. And because that's actually the kind of person I am. I hate working with strangers. I hate working with people that I don't know, the people that I can't sit down with and actually enjoy their
Right.
company. So I've learned to rely on men and to build relationships as well. I've learned that sometimes you need to embrace the uncertainty of it all. I think as humans, we're always looking for certainty. I think we're wired to always look for certainty. But there are just some things you do that there is no certainty in it,
Right.
and nobody can actually give you certainty.
Right.
On you just have to keep, you just have to keep keeping
Right.
on, literally.
Right.
And so, like, those have been my biggest lessons. Like, you need God, you need men,
Mm.
and you need to be grounded in whatever you're doing because
Right.
nobody else can do it for you.
Right.
Even when I try to explain to my friends what I'm doing, I can see it on their face. They're just
They're
like,
like, okay, I
nah,
understand.
I hope you have not gone mad. Like, and I don't, do you know, I don't blame anybody for it because the truth is that if I don't believe in my vision, then why would I be expecting somebody else
Right.
to believe in it, right?
Right.
I've just had to sit down with that and be like, you know what, this is my vision.
Right.
Because tomorrow, if the thing is successful, it's not you that will be enjoying the success.
Right.
It's me.
Right.
And if
Right.
it fails, if it's not you that will be suffering, it's me.
Right.
And so I have to now commit to it or not do it at all. So
Right.
I think that's really what it is for me at this point. It's all in or nothing, you know.
Right.
And
Right.
I've actually gone all in.
Right. Right.
Literally, I'm all in. So
Right. Fair enough. But to be fair, like you've had like a lot of highlight moments, like the black market.
you know those things. You know the thing about highlights, they're
Yeah.
so deceiving.
Yeah, well, true. Like obviously, like things might not always like look the way it is on the on the inside and on the outside. Like it might give a very very different picture. But nonetheless, like like you've said, like you were kind of like riding on the like even though like you had an idea of what the vision is, like you wanted to promote black founders, businesses, and whatnot, and you had the like in terms of like the how. You hadn't figured that out as
Yes.
of yet, but like you kept the brand top of mind, top of mind. So in between all of those pivots and all of those things, like the brand name was still there. So like the brand was still 18. So like even though like you're not you may or may not have figured out what is like, the main product or whatever, but like, people connect with the brand. Like that's the same reason why people are attending your event, or like some personal things are happening. Oh, everybody knows Nina. Like there's equity in all of those things.
Social capital
Exactly.
is real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like you've had very, very good highlight moments. So I think you mentioned you were like working on another startup. I think it's Co-Create.
Yeah,
Do you like talk
Co-Create.
about like what it's about? Maybe you can talk to the camera and just tell.
So I got the idea for cookies last year. Funny enough, that idea has changed, and initially I thought it would be like under SoPlugged. Like so many times I keep like going back and forth with this thing. But initially the idea for co-create was for creators to share studio space.
Yeah.
Because it's something that in Toronto, studio spaces are very expensive. You can see a studio for like $100 per hour. And for example, if you were shooting this podcast in $100 per hour studio and you needed 3 hours,
Right.
that's already $300, right? And that's before taxes and all of that. And I was just like, okay, what if you could split that with somebody else, and then that way it's lower in both of you? Because for me, sometimes when I'm booking studios, I book with my friends, so we can split the cost. So I got the idea last year. I was like, me, when I get ideas, I don't sleep. I don't waste time, because I genuinely believe that procrastination, when you receive an idea, first of all, I believe that we receive ideas from God, right? And if you're sitting on something, you don't rate God. And I feel like he will carry it and give to somebody else. Do you know that fear drives me?
Right.
I don't want to call it a fear, but that underlying understanding. And so I got the thing. I was telling my brother, I was like, okay, we need to start like putting, and he was just like, nah.
Calm down.
Calm down. And I was like, you know what, whatever, man. Like so I started putting feelers out there. Because what I also noticed was with our SoPlugged events, creators started coming. So it was no longer just purely business owners. Creators started coming. And then I was like, you know what? You're actually a business owner as well, because the government sees you as someone that's generating revenue. And so you're a business owner. So we started having to tweak a lot of our programming to creator focused programming. And I use that as an avenue to start like doing a bit of research into like, okay, are you also feeling this pain point? Is this something? Initially, yeah, people were receptive. Oh yeah, definitely studio sharing is a thing. I was like, oh wow, okay, like valid. Then this year I was like, okay, I'm going to run a test. We're going to book a studio and like invite creators. People will just come and share the studio. Nobody came. Well, one person came, one creator came, and I was just like, "Kai, where is everybody else?" But then I was like, people registered. Let's say 7 people registered. One person showed up. I showed up, and then my sister-in-law came. And then we all obviously shot the content. It was cool. We had a great day. But in the back of my head, I just kept thinking there should be at least 7 people here, if not 10. Because I even told the studio we were expecting 15 people. Because you have to always sell these things.
Right.
And I remember the studio manager coming and being like, "Is this everybody? Oh, have people left?" I was like, "No, this is everybody." She was like, "Wow, don't worry. We can even give you a discount on your next booking." Because she genuinely felt bad for me. And I was just like, okay, maybe it's because it's winter, because that was January. Maybe that's why people didn't come. And it was also free, like they didn't have to pay. I made so many excuses. But then I was still I was still putting the idea together, building out prototypes of what I thought it could look like. Then my friend owns a studio in Mississauga, shout out Mood Studios. And then I was like, oh, I have this idea. I want to test it out with your studio. But this time around, I'm going to have people pay for it so that we don't have no shows, blah, blah, blah. We had a great conversation. She was like, yeah, definitely. We ran it. How many people even ended up booking? I think we ended up getting 1 booking. So it was all the Fridays in July. And the idea was that they could book from 11 to 8. I think we ended up having maybe 1 booking per Friday, which was like maybe maximum of 4 sessions. And I was just like, money down the drain again. Like nobody was picking it up. Nobody was. Then I had a conversation with a friend and she was just like, do you know what? Like creators are mostly looking for money. Like they're mostly looking to get deals, partnerships and stuff that will help them afford studios. Like maybe the studio affording thing is not necessarily a product, it's a feature. for when they're able to have money. So maybe if you give them money or give them opportunities to make money, then they will now be able to book studios and split it or whatever, whatever. And I was like, brilliant, brilliant stuff. But at that point, we had already started building the MVP for a studio sharing platform. So I had a next Monday, I called my designer. I was like, this is our new focus. We're pivoting. And he was just, oh, yeah, yes, boss, yes, boss, yes. Pivot. He archived everything. We started from scratch. But mind you, at this point, I'm funding I'm funding design of this thing by myself. And I was just like, in my head, it hadn't fully dawned on me that it was a startup company, like a tech. It hadn't fully dawned on me. And I think that's the thing that allows me to do these things. It doesn't typically fully dawn on me in the beginning until I'm in the middle and I'm like, oh,
this is what I'm getting into.
I think I had called my brother and I was just like randomly saying, oh yeah, so, we started building design. He's like, oh, what, you hired someone? I was like, yeah, I have a designer working for me full time. How much are you paying him? And she's like, you're paying this guy how much? And then he did the math. Till today, that thing rings in my head. He's like, you're paying this guy how much a year? How? I said, I didn't think that far. I didn't think that far. And that was protecting me. Once he gave me the reality check, do you know, I had sleepless nights. Like, I was just like, Nina, what have you gotten yourself into? You still have SoPlugged. We're still doing SoPlugged things. Now you're a full-time, like, you don't have a job. Like, I was just like, Nina. So, but then typical Nina fashion, I was like, it's okay, man. Double down. I brought on a dev. I was like, yeah, you're going to start developing what this guy is designing. We're going ham. We're going to say, I'm going to raise money. I'm going to do boot camp. I started applying for all this tech incubator. All of them were declining. I was like, wow. Great. Lovely stuff. And this whole time they're so excited to be building stuff for me, and sometimes I'll be discouraged, and then I'll go into a meeting with like my designer or something, and he'll just show me. I'll be like, wow.
To ginger you.
He would ginger me. I'll start writing emails. And honestly, that's like just the up and down of everything. And funny enough, now the MVP is almost done, and I was telling him, man, we need to wrap up this project. Like, I don't think I have the funding anymore. Like, I've just constantly been applying for different things and nothing is coming through. And my designer was like, don't worry, we are praying. We're praying. So yeah, all that to say, yeah, now how we're positioning Co-Create is that it's a cross-border marketplace that allows small businesses to hire content creators anywhere in the world. But we're starting with Canada first. And so the idea is that obviously it uses AI, because anything you build these days that don't use AI, it's like you're in the stone age.
True.
But the idea is that if we can make it easier for small businesses to find and hire content creators, then they would and they're able to see the results from influencer marketing, because part of my marketing career was I did a bit of influencer marketing, and they're able to see the results in that it doubles or increases their revenue, and they're able to come back and hire more creators, right? We have stickiness for the platform, and then we're helping creators build their businesses as well, and then we can now introduce other features for creators and all that stuff down the line. And then the idea also is that we're now building this as a full stack infrastructure. So we'll help the business draft up the contract, understand usage rights around, because a lot of businesses don't understand how it works to engage. And that was something that we actually have been seeing from all the research we were doing previously from our events. This is from like 2 years worth of data, right? Businesses just being like, I want to work with creators, but I don't know how. And creators being like, businesses never approach us the right way. They always just ask for the most ridiculous stuff. And so the platform is basically trying to standardize that whole process, make it seamless and make it easier, and also just handle the payments and everything. So anyways, MVP is almost done. We just did the alpha testing this month. And then hopefully by next month we'll be able to go into beta. But it's crazy that I'm saying all of this now. It's so crazy. Like, I did not start the year thinking I'm going to be a tech founder on top of every other thing. And some days that I just wake up, like anxiety is so real. Like when you're doing something, because I worked in tech before, I've seen tech companies literally shut down. Like companies I've worked for literally shut down. Obviously, I've been part of layoffs before. So like there's this fear in me that like what if I end up making those same mistakes, right? With SoPlugged is so safe. Like I'm telling you, I feel like I can do no wrong with SoPlugged. But co-create, I'm in totally new waters. Like things now, like the other day, like just even understanding code or all those things, like I couldn't even. But it's such a learning curve for me that has just also altered my brain chemistry as well. But yeah, I'm really hoping and trusting God that it's something that we're able to launch, if not this year, but next year.
Okay, it's exciting. So like I think you guys are currently like in a wait list. Like you mentioned, like there's your better thing going in the background. But like so it's wait list. Like I guess what's the website so like people can join in, you know?
Oh, okay. I didn't even think of
Actually,
that.
maybe like I'll just put I'll put the link. I'll put the link for
but if you
people
check
to
on
actually
Instagram,
see
it's join co-create. Yeah, it's co-create. Join co-create.ca.
Okay, awesome. Maybe like I have just before we wrap up, I have like just some few like fun questions for us to like ending. So like I see a lot of like your profile page. You have your name Sotarie.
Yeah.
So like where did that name come from?
Oh, that's my middle name.
Really?
People never think it's a real name. Yeah, so my full name is Nina Barango.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's
okay. What does it mean?
Sent from heaven.
Sent from it. Oh wow.
At least that's why I remember my mom saying it.
Wow. Because I've always been singing. I was like, really?
Yeah, it's my middle name.
Okay, that's really fun to know. Maybe a second question. So like if you could drop an advice for say for your younger self, what would that advice be?
I feel like I would tell my younger self to believe quicker. And in terms of, well, it depends on which of the younger selves we're talking to, because there's some of my younger selves that won't listen to whatever I have to say right now. I feel like I'm so different from whatever I thought I would be. And so if me now met my younger self, they would just be like, you're definitely not. Like, no way I turned out to be that. And that's why I'm saying believe quicker, because I feel like growing up, I had so many reasons to not believe, in myself or in what I'm doing, or there was just so many. It's easier to not believe than it is to believe, and I wish I just believed quicker. I feel like I would have taken this leap earlier, and maybe
you'll be further.
I'll be further down the line now. But I'm still a young girl, so
you're doing well for yourself. Girl, so come on.
That's really the only thing. That's really the only advice I would give to my younger self, to believe quicker.
Believe quicker. Another one. What I guess advice will you give to like aspiring entrepreneurs?
Don't aspire. Don't aspire.
I feel like a lot of people they discourage entrepreneurship.
No, I think for me, when you stay in that place of aspiration for too long, you begin to create a fantasy for yourself. And then when you get into the reality of things, reality is always so different from fantasy. And so I'd rather if you jumped into it as opposed to aspiring. I'll first ask you, why are you still aspiring? Like, why are you not already an entrepreneur? It doesn't take much to become an entrepreneur. Just start selling something. But yeah, don't aspire, because like you build up all these ideologies in your head, and I feel like the longer you stay in that limbo, the shorter you are an entrepreneur for. Like the quicker you jump into things, you can get used to the program and now start, but I feel like, but then really if you're just like trying to start up and all of that, I feel like the major advice I would give is to have genuine relationships with people. A lot of people that you look up to and you're like, oh, wow, how do they know this person? How do they know that person? It's because they formed relationships in early stages, peer-to-peer like relationships. Like some of I always tell my friends, I'm never letting them go, because I already know they're going to be great. And, like, that's how you form, that's how you create value. Like, you need to form relationships with people and invest in those
Right.
relationships. So many people that have helped me with SoPlugged today, it's like from people I know from way back that we've like poured into each other. And so that's why they are able to, help, like they're able to help me. And, like these things are two-way streets, So I
Right.
would say the major thing that you should, in as much as you're building a great product or service, whatever, I think building great relationships is also like such a huge differentiator for people
Right.
that are successful versus people that are not successful.
Fair, fair, fair. And I guess my final question, like, can you tell people what, they should look forward to from
Uh,
SoPlugged? Because I know you're organizing like this party with like Pesa,
yes, our end of year party. Please, you guys should come, man. It's actually going to be so fun.
If you're not coming, you're wrong.
You're actually very wrong. I've been telling everybody it's happening in Toronto, December 21st. And we're actually rebranding SoPlugged.
Okay.
So, and it's something
Ooh.
I've been struggling with because now SoPlugged is recognized, like people know of the name, and now thinking of changing it to something else. Yeah, we're actually rebranding SoPlugged, and we're trying to make it more of a structured accelerator program for consumer brands. And SoPlugged is gonna become Compound.
Oh, I like it.
So you heard it here. I don't know. I can't promise you because I've been talking about this thing for a while now. Everything is done. Like
Yeah.
we've built everything. It's just finding the right time and the right strategy
The
to
right
launch
moment
it
to
and
just,
and the right moment. I just feel like there's always something happening that already just has the SoPlugged tag on it. That I'm like, if I start saying Compound now, I feel like people need a minute. So I've been just thinking about, okay, how do we go about this in a way that makes sense? But yeah, SoPlugged is getting a rebrand, and then co-create hopefully as well launches.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
it was good having you. It was good talking to you.
Thank you.
And
This was
yeah,
such a
I'm looking
funny
forward to
app.
everything coming out.
Thank you.